Oh, right. I haven't said this in a long time. I don't think. You know what it is. You know who it is. We are back with another episode of the BG Perform podcast.
I was gonna say there was no clap
I
either.
know. Just
Switching it up on the
throwing it all
people.
together, just making freestyle.
Damn, if you guys could see what he did, if you're just listening, his
Freestyle. That
baller
was
moves at the
finger
desk.
roll. Finger roll. Um, yeah, we're back with another episode of the BG Perform podcast with my co-host, Coach Jerry Hayes. Coach Jerry Hayes, how we feeling?
We're good, man. We're last week, we were feeling a little ill. This week, we are feeling great, but I still sound ill, which is scaring my clients. They're like, "Bro, are you sick?" I'm like, "No, I promise. I promise." Um, but besides that, things are great. Summer's starting up, so the schedule at work is getting crazy. Kids are off school, so we got training in the mornings, training in the afternoons, evenings still. So just hectic as ever, but very, very good, busy, and progressive. So
Okay.
how about you?
All right. Good. As always, like I said, I think I said this a couple weeks ago, but I've just been in a grind mode just every day, just showing up, doing what I got to do. And that's it. So just doing what I got to do.
Yeah, man. It's good.
Podcast, behind the design, Coach Connect, training myself, training my clients, working on the online stuff, trying to be a little bit more specific with the content. So we're getting there though. We're getting there.
Yeah, I saw your video this morning talking about coaching, not coaching, or coaches not coaching themselves, and
Yeah, I think I need
that's
to
good.
I think I need to we're trying to make the message a little bit more clear. So
Yeah, it's coming
yeah,
across. I like it. I like
good,
it.
good. Would you want to work with me?
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Fuck
Perfect.
yeah. Why not?
All right, so today, so last couple weeks we've been building on this personal trainers versus Chat GPT,
Yep.
and we're gonna be diving into. So week one, we let Chat GPT make a program for us, and
Yeah.
we kind of watched that madness unfold. Last week we dove into what ChatGPT did wrong, how we could improve it, and kind of just like talked about that whole process and kind of our thinking into that. So today what we're going to talk about is we're going to dive into first what one of our training programs look like, right? And this is going to be one of our general programs. Obviously, this is going to be a program that's designed kind of for general use, right? Like this is one of those plug and play programs that's like if I just want to work out, general gym, general concept, general goal, whatever. These types of programs that Jerry and myself have designed, we're going to go over one of those. And then we're going to actually kind of take what we designed last week, which was those last two workouts, and we're going to progress those, or we're going to basically like redesign them based on who's in front of us training, right? And what I want to kind of show you guys, the thing I want you to kind of continue to take away from this is that you can use Chat GPT or AI or whatever, right? But there's a lot more in-depth thought that needs to go into it, and there's a lot more individualization is key, right? And I think for us coaches, the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from this, if you are listening, is you know, I think I think AI can be a really good support system or something to help you think, but it cannot be something that's designing program for you, and it shouldn't be either way. Even if it was getting better, right, and it gave us somewhat of a better outlook on what we're doing, it should never replace us as coaches actually designing programs and writing programs for individuals, because at that point if we are doing that, we're missing out on a lot of practice, and we're missing out on a lot of like really good experience as coaches in designing programs. I really think that's the most important piece of what we do, obviously, as a job outside of actually like building the relationship. But the relationship building is something that, outside of everything else, like someone's coming to you for a workout, right? And they're coming to you for training to get better, to get stronger, to get lean, or whatever it might be. And we do that by designing programs, and then we keep them around by building relationships and showing them that we actually care. So anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, before we jump in, excuse me, before we jump into today, I saw this thing, and I promise it's going to come full circle.
Hmm.
I think a lot of AI right now is it falls into the same category as everything else, where the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And something like AI seems so incredible to somebody who doesn't navigate AI often, or somebody who's very new to AI. And the things that it produces are the same. So our programs, like you're going to see today, that it may look like, okay, it built a program for me, but from the coach's eye, we're like, dude, what? Like, no, that's terrible. And I saw a post on Instagram recently where, if you guys follow, if you know who Goob is on Instagram, he calls out like Photoshop, he calls out like pedophiles in the fitness industry, a bunch of bad things. And a guy, I forgot where he was, maybe Texas or something, pretended that Justin Bieber came to his gym. Did you see this?
No.
And he posed with an AI Justin Bieber, and like it's clearly AI. Like it doesn't look like him exactly, but also his tattoos on his neck are a little messed up. So like
Yeah.
anybody who's used AI can be like, dude, this is AI. This dude is standing on his ground. He's like, no, man. Like people think it's AI. Like it's incredible. What a crazy past couple days. Like Biebs came to support our brand. Like all this stuff, right? And it just has me thinking like this guy doesn't understand AI to the point that he thinks it looks good. He thinks it's passable as real. And he's like, check this out.
Yeah.
And he's so new to AI that seeing these things, he can't pick up the little details where it's like, look for this, look for that. He
Yeah.
just sees it and he's like, wow, AI is incredible. And it's the same thing with these programs where when you're looking at the way that it's built out, somebody who isn't as experienced in building programs and program design may look at it and be like, this is great. But
Hmm.
we're going to find out today why Brandon and I looked at it and immediately were like, nope, that's an AI program, and you could tell. So I think it's really cool that again, the more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and it falls into that category as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to show today. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for this episode.
I'm laughing because I don't know if you've been paying attention to Marcus Philly, but he's had some like AI posts the last
Really?
few like last week or so, last couple weeks, and they're like so bad, and the comments are just railing this dude. Just like
Like is
look at his, just like
like
so
he
like
is AI or
well yeah. There's like AI um B-roll of him, and then he's like talking to the screen, and then there's like AI videos of him working out. Go check it out first.
okay? Let me see.
There's one where he's like lifting, and then there's one where he's like eating, and like it's got AI steak cut. Like it's just so bad, and the comments are just so funny because they're like, because Marcus Philly's like a respectable guy. I would
Oh
like.
yeah,
Which one are you watching?
yeah. This one,
Yeah, yeah.
bro.
So
But the beginning is like, what is this?
yeah, it's like,
It's like quarter reps, dude.
but it's just funny because someone like him, who's I would consider to be one of the more respected people, at least in my opinion, in regards to
Yeah,
like training. Like Marcus Philly had a huge impact on my fitness journey and like my coaching journey. And I learned a
mine
lot
as
from
well.
just like watching him, you know?
Yeah.
Like it sucks to see that sort of environment be put or like shared because he has such a big influence. And like, you know, I still think there's spots for AI to do a lot of good in fitness and content sharing, but I also think like we got to keep ourselves moving and continue to be a part of it. So, um, but yeah,
I
so
mean, at
what I'm
least
gonna
he's
do?
aware of it. Like someone said, like this new AI intertwined content, not it, with an upside down smile. He said, noted, appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
he's
probably
just
going to stop
yeah.
soon.
I hope so because
Yeah.
it's not good, not good
Yeah.
watching that. All right, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna show you guys a program of ours, and we're gonna dive into it a little bit because what I wanna show you guys here is what the differences kind of look like between a couple of our programs, right? And if you remember what we talked about last week, um, there's a lot. Actually, I'm gonna you know what I'm gonna go back to Transcend 2.0. The hell is where is Transcend program 2?
There you go.
So the biggest thing that I want you guys to take away from here, right, is there's a lot of in-depthness or there's a lot of depth to a program design, especially when you're individualizing it, right? Now, Jerry and I have a couple options if you ever like decided you wanted to work with us. We have obviously the individualized option, which is where you're working with us individually. We are kind of designing, well, we are fully designing a program for you week by week, depending on the results and the things that are coming to us, and the feedback we're getting in regards to like rep sets, all that stuff. But we're basically sitting down and figuring out the goals that you want to achieve, and then we're designing a program built around your thoughts, desires, priorities, all that stuff, right? Now, that's obviously a lot more involved, and some people don't want that level of involvement, or some people just want to do a workout, right? So we have a lower tier option as well. Now, these programs are only $50 a month, right? Or in regards to some of them, like dinner party or whatnot, they're $200 just one time payment for about 3 months of programming. So very cheap options. So with these programs, we design them so they can be done in a regular gym, so they can be done really by anybody, and that you're still going to hit your strength goals, hit your whatever goals you're achieving. But I want to kind of look into this and show you the difference between like something we write and what you might be getting for quote unquote free on Chat GPT, because like there is a big difference between it, right? So even just kind of breaking down our first piece here. So warm up, right? So this was a lower body focus day that Jerry and I designed for Transcend 2.0. Now, when we look into this, if you're someone who's like, hey, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I want something to follow so that I can go into the gym, you're going to want some breakdowns, some feedback, some videos, that sort of thing, so you can understand what you're trying to do, right? Because a lot of this stuff, like if you don't know what a rear foot elevated split squat is, what the hell does RFVSS mean?
Profess.
Right? Refess, right? Refess your sins.
You're under profess.
You're under, you're under a press. That's funny. But yeah, so we got a lower body push day. Some of the notes we left in the beginning: slight format change this month. We will be focusing on each day on a specific pattern and fully maximizing output for that day. This will be great for building muscle and getting strong. So just a general understanding of like what the day is going to be like inside of this program. Then from here, we have a full warm up. So we got 3 rounds, 30 seconds per side, lunge hip flexor stretch with a front foot elevated, 8 squat thoracic rotations, and then 8 forward lunges. Each of those are going to have a video under here. Actually, there's no forward lunges, so I will update that here. So each of these is going to have a video, and you're going to be doing 30 seconds for the lunge hip flexor stretch, 8 rotations per side, and then 8 lunges per side. So right away, if we're looking at this in comparison to the Chat GPT warm up, what are you seeing, right? You're getting videos, you're getting actual descriptions, you're getting the rounds, the reps, that sort of thing. 'Cause I don't remember, maybe I'm, yeah, maybe I'm forgetting, but did the warm up give us actual reps or numbers?
No, it just said arm circles, air squats, which honestly, like in a warm up, when you're doing this stuff, it's going to feel fatiguing in the beginning because you're waking up.
Yeah.
So you might do like 3 air squats and be like, oh, so like having an actual warm up with 3 rounds prescribed reps.
Exactly. So, and this is going to be something that you're going to do, get into it, and this should prime you to be ready for the rest of the session, right? Then we're getting into the actual strength session. Now, the biggest thing I want you to notice right away, right? What would you say is the biggest thing you notice from ChatGPT to this?
Look at the number of exercises.
Oh, right away. Away. 4 exercises, really. Like, or maybe 5, because we're counting these 2, but these are done back to back. But 3 main exercises in the day, right? I think ChatGPT was 7.
It was 7.
It was 7 or 8 exercises, which is a lot, right? Now, this is a little bit more of a intermediate program that we designed. So this could still be done by a beginner, but the way that we kind of have the sets and reps set up, this would probably be more beneficial to someone who's been training in the gym for a couple months. But either way, so we have a couple things that are huge difference here, right? First, tempo. There wasn't any tempo, obviously, in the ChatGPT version, but we have a 20x1 tempo, and this is how normal tempo is written from left to right. So it's going to be 2 seconds on the way down, 0-second pause at the bottom, up as fast as you can, and then a 1-second pause at the top. Then from here, we got 4 sets, 10 reps per side, which is a lot, right? But the goal here is to kind of work on this range of motion, right? So we wrote your back knee should be able to touch the ground each rep you complete. Lightly tap your knee off the ground as if there is glass underneath your knee. Hold the dumbbell in the opposite direction or opposite hand of the front foot. So with this being written out, we have an understanding like, yeah, 10 reps is a lot of reps, but we're not going too heavy. This isn't like, it's heavy, it's a heavy set, but we're not trying to like destroy them with a bunch of exercises, right? Like this is already a lot in the first session. So this is going to really tax someone in that first exercise, right? Then we have the goblet squat after that. So we got another tempo, 2-0-X1. We got 4 sets by 8 to 10 reps, and we're going to rest 2 minutes, which is another thing I don't think Chat GPT even
no rest period
in there. And we're building to a heavy set of 8 to 10 reps here. That's a mistake here, but and we're going to use a kettlebell or a dumbbell in that goblet position. Keep a strict tempo. Focus on depth here. If you need to elevate the heels. So right away, the first 2 exercises, you're noticing depth. You're noticing detail. You're noticing reps and set schemes. You're understanding the method to the day, right? So you're understanding like, hey, we're going to build to a heavy set of 10 here. We're going to build to a heavy set of 8 to 10 here. We're going to be in between this 8 to 10 rep range. We got videos for each of these sessions, right? And these are really important because if you're just stepping foot in the gym for the first time, right, it's going to be really hard for you to walk into the session, have to learn every single movement. And if it's not set up like it is on Coach RX here with the movement patterns, you're going to have to like YouTube what it is, try to be like, all right, is this the one that they want me to do? Right. Obviously with the video you have on the movement here, this is the one we want you to do. Right. So when you click on this, it's going to show you the video of the movement. And this is going to be the movement and what we want it to look like when you go through that whole thing. Right. So with that being said, that takes everything out of the way. The only thing you have to do is open your app, go click that workout, complete the exercise, and go from there, right? So then here we have the barbell RDL. So again, we got another 2-second tempo, 2-0-X1. We got 3 sets by 8 reps, build to a heavy set of 8, keep the barbell against the legs throughout the movement, keep tempo strict, and keep the tension in the glutes and hamstrings. Squeeze your butt at the top. There's a typo there. Squeeze your butt at the top and do not hyperextend through the low back and keep the arms relaxed, right? Same idea. We're focusing on building to a heavy, like this first week here, we're building to a heavy number that we're then going to build on in the next couple of weeks, right? From the Chat GPT version, there was no understanding of like, am I supposed to go, like, what am I supposed to build up to? Am I supposed to do, a heavy set, a light set? Am I supposed to just kind of like, what type of weight am I supposed to use? No breakdown or understanding there. Then we have our core
overload was not programmed into the entire exercises with the thought of progression in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then we have the core exercises. We have 3 sets. We got 30 seconds bent hollow hold into a 30-second plank. And then we're resting for 90 seconds. And we're trying to really keep that 30-second time range strict. So again, when you're looking at this from step number 1 or week number 1, right, there's already a night and day difference from the start of what you're going to get from like a Chat GPT program into, I'd say a BG and Jerry Nova workout, right?
Nova Strength
workout. Sorry. BG Perform and Nova Strength.
Fun fact, Jerry
anything
Nova
you want to add to that first
gamer tag from back in the day. So
Jerry
that's why he keeps messing it up. Dude, travel back to 2008. It's just a dog barking.
Yeah. Anything you want to add to that?
I think that first things first, obviously we talked about the number of exercises. If you go through that Chat GPT program, you're going to barely walk out of the gym for your leg day. If you do this program, you're going to walk out of the gym feeling accomplished and you're going to feel like you actually did something. And you're going to tell that, okay, this was good. I feel it everywhere. This is going to progress and I'm going to get stronger and feel better from it compared to the Chat GPT program.
Yeah.
I think just doing it, like if you guys were to just test out both of these days that we're showing you, you're going to feel a clear difference between the good and the bad.
Yeah. So, and I think that's clear as day, right? I think the other thing I want to talk about is you're going to see the same concept. So every single session on here, you're going to have like an understanding of the day. You're going to have a warm up. You're going to have the movements with the reps and sets, plus the videos and everything like that. Are you hearing that noise? All right. It's Coach RX. It's giving me a note.
What'd you say?
It's Coach RX.
Was it?
Yeah, it's my notification. Like when I get a notification on here,
Oh,
it
it's the
sounds.
sound of a plate moving.
Yeah, yeah,
Got it. Okay.
yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So same idea here. We have another specific warm up for the day. This isn't just arm circles and you know, uh, I don't even know what the hell else was in the warm up for that. But we got
Probably
specific.
toe
We're working
touches.
on scapular rotation. We're working on making sure the shoulders are moving through all planes of motion. We're making sure that we're training the shoulder or prepping the shoulder to move, right? So then we have our session again. So we're working on the barbell bench here. We got 4 sets, 12, 10, 8 AMRAP reps, right? So this is a cool, unique type of set where we can build up through the sets here. We go 12 reps, then 10 reps, then 8. And then on that last set, we're hitting an AMRAP. And this is going to be something we're building on in the coming weeks. So it's going to be like an AMRAP set that we're going to do as many reps as possible. That's what AMRAP stands for. And then we're going to try to beat that AMRAP each week for the next 4 weeks. All right. And this is a really cool way just to kind of push yourself and teach someone early on what like real, I wouldn't say failure feels like, but like what what it feels like to actually push yourself to a
True
hard movement.
fatigue.
Yeah, true fatigue.
Yeah.
Then after that, we got some dumbbell bench press, and this is something that's pretty common in a lot of situations where the barbell is a little bit more of a fixed position, and we'll try to go a little bit heavier here. And then the dumbbell bench press is going to be something after that's a little bit more movement involved or a little more stable or stability based movement because the free weights. So we're working on 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps here, trying to push the weight here after we did the bench press. Then we have our kettlebell, our gorilla row, and we're doing a superset here back to back. This is another thing. Like some of these movements can be supersetted pretty easily inside of the gym, and it saves you a lot of time. But
Mm-hmm.
again, main idea here. And this is something I want to kind of go over as well, because you might be looking at this and saying, like, well, you guys kind of have like the same sets and reps as the chat GPT exercises, right? In regards to like the volume. But the volume overall with movement selection is significantly less, right? And
Yeah.
and that's a really important thing to realize is like three main movements at these rep ranges are great, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we start to get into 5, 6, 7 exercises at those rep ranges, like that's just entirely too much on the body, right? When you're doing three main exercises for the day, and this one is really just one main exercise and a superset, right? And with the superset, this is going to basically keep us from going like too heavy because we're going to have to do the bench press into the row and then rest. So it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit taxing on the body. But the goal here is to understand like we can do a lot more with less, right? And less movements, less output, as long as we're being intentional with the selection, the pattern selection, the movement selection, and then how we're actually structuring this stuff. So,
Also,
anything that,
I was gonna say, to calculate like full volume would be reps times sets times weight.
Mhm.
If you were to do that, like it looks like it's a lot of volume compared to ChatGPT too, but if you calculate hours versus ChatGPT's, you're gonna be like, oh wow, that's a big
yeah,
difference.
yeah,
So
exactly.
like adding 4 more exercises on top of this would absolutely be way too much in terms of volume if we followed the same type of progression.
Yep. And then we have our core circuit. So we got plank rotations and windshield wipers. Now, normally this was an older program, so we've kind of updated some of these things. But if uh, we usually give options for things if you can't do them now. That was something that
Mm-hmm.
we found people were kind of running into. They're like, oh, well, if I can't do this, what should I do? So we usually give like an alternative option as well. But either way, we got plank rotations and then windshield wipers, and that's the session, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's 3 solid movements here, strength movements that lead the day. And then there's a core exercise at the end, and we're done, right? The other thing, right? So on these programs, I always like to have a um like a focused conditioning day or aerobic day.
Mm-hmm.
So we had something simple here as a 1 minute bike, row, ski, or jog. You kind of pick what you want to do there. 1 round of 10 dumbbell curler press, rest 15 seconds, 1 minute bike, row, ski, jog at moderate pace into 1 round of kettlebell suitcase deadlift per side, 1 minute bike, row, ski, jog at slow pace into 1 round of 5 to 10 up downs, right? So this is just very simple, something to move through, gets them a little bit of a breathing pace here at the beginning with the first minute. And then we just kind of slowly bring it down as the movements progress. And we get to just kind of work on breathing, work on building up capacity here. And then that's it, right? So for me, these first 3 days, obviously, very specific. Like we're doing the same amount of movements in the first 2 days as they are in one day in that ChatGPT program, right? So ideally, at the end of this, you're going to be sore. You're going to feel it, but you're not. You shouldn't be sore to the point that you're basically not able to get to this session and then a rest day, right? This is another thing that didn't really account for, I don't think, in ChatGPT, or at least it didn't say it, was like the amount of rest days during the week. But we usually have scheduled rest days. I personally like to go, like currently in my program, I go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday conditioning, Thursday, which is a little bit of a lighter day, or it has
Mm-hmm.
been. Thursday, Friday lift. Saturday's a really light day, and then Sunday's a full rest day. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times when I write programs like this, I'll usually use Wednesday or Thursday as a full rest day, just because it's the middle of the week, gives you a little bit of a understanding there on how to adjust, or just getting ready for the rest of the days during the session, and then we end up killing or crushing the rest of the week.
I will say too that the reason that I like that we have that third day being more of an aerobic capacity day is that extra movement and blood flow will help you stay loose. Motion is lotion, movement is medicine. Just staying moving will help to keep your joints, I guess, quote unquote, lubricated, right? So you won't get as stiff. It's really nice to have those two pretty tough lifts and then go into something to just keep yourself moving but feel good. You'll
Mm-hmm.
be much less sore on Thursday. If this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll be much less sore Thursday than you would be if you had just a day off.
Yeah,
Moving is going to help a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 days, we have another lower body day. This is more of a hinge focus day. Again, we got a nice little warm up here that we're working through. Then we got the deadlift. So with the deadlift, obviously we're building up to a heavy set of 12, 10, 8 on here, right? Then the last set we're looking to build from an ANRAP. So the one thing we want to be clear about here is obviously staying safe with the weight. I wouldn't want somebody to do this sort of session and try to go for like a max effort. The goal here is early on to stay safe with the weight, obviously focus on really good movement, keep this tempo strict as well. And the tempo is a really good way that ChatGPT didn't utilize to keep people from going too heavy. Because if you're having to control the weight for 2 seconds on the way down, it's going to stop you from going like super, super heavy on the deadlift, right? And when you're looking at this rep range early on, this is going to be a lot. So we want to make sure the individual is aware of that and focusing on more moving through this at we're looking at a heavy, we this is another thing that we changed in the upcoming versions of Transcend, because I think we're on Transcend 5 now.
5. Yeah.
It's tough. We use a tough set, which is definitely a better word to use here, as opposed to heavy, because heavy can be obviously misconstrued for trying to be super heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Yeah.
tough is just like a tough set of 12. That doesn't really that gives you an understanding of like, hey, I want this to be hard, but I don't want this to be like to failure, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Then from here, we got reverse lunges into knee lifts and then a glute ham raise. So, or 45-degree hip extension. So again, with the reverse lunge to the knee lift, we got 4 sets, 8 reps per side. We're building to a heavy set of 8 there, keeping a strict tempo, using the weight, use weight to keep a range of motion and tempo strict, and then focus on control of the top leg lift. And then the 45-degree hip extension, we're keeping the feet dorsiflexed, keep core tight, start with body weight for 10 to 15 reps here, focus on the range of motion this week, keep a rounded torso when you come up to the top, and squeeze your butt to finish the movement, right? So again, good detailed explanations, solid set and rep schemes that show you what you need to do, when you need to do it, what the rest should look like, that sort of thing. And then we just have a little core circuit at the end here. So we got 60 total reps broken up however you need to complete all the reps, leg lifts over the kettlebell, right? And then we have our full body movement here, our last one of the week. We have the full body focus. So we got 3 sets. We got a pigeon pose, a single leg contralateral, dumbbell, kettlebell, or weighted RDL, whichever way you want to work there. And then we have a 30-second overhead single arm carry. So a nice, just kind of cover a lot of the areas of the body. And then we got 4 sets of 8 on the seated overhead press, 4 sets of 10 to 12 on the lat pull down, 3 sets of 10 on the lateral raise, 3 sets of 15 on the shrugs. And then we have some arm work here at the end of the week. Now, another thing here, I want you to notice throughout this week, right? We have very big movements throughout the beginning of the week. So we got rear foot elevated split squat, barbell bench press, deadlift, right? And then this day is a lot of smaller movements, smaller muscles, very low skill movements outside of the shoulder press. Like cable lat pull down isn't going to be high skill. It's attached there. The seated dumbbell lateral raise is, it's not super easy, but it's also not super difficult. You're just kind of bringing your arms out to the side. Shrug is super simple, but you can still get a little bit heavy on that. And then the arm workout at the end there. So what's really good about this is the week is also laid out in a very productive way that is very beneficial and takes you through a nice solid week where, as we're at the beginning of the week, we're doing some really hard movements, right? So we got the rear foot elevated split squat, the goblet squat, the RDL, right? Then we got the barbell bench press, the dumbbell bench press, kettlebell gorilla row. Then we got our deadlifts, reverse lunges, and glute 45-degree hip extensions. And then we're working through the weekend with some like lighter, more vanity-based movements that are still really solid work, but are going to allow us to kind of continue to move for a few sets at the end of a week of that session, right? So this was obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we'll say about 13 to 15 movements that we did for the entire week, right? I think ChatGPT had 15 movements in the first 2 days,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that. So that's where you can kind of see what a program like this, which is actually progressed, well thought out and designed to help you really find success in the gym, where the difference lies between this and just a random ChatGPT program. So anything you want to add on top of that?
Yeah, the excuse me, man, I'm sorry. Everything's still stuck in my face. The the main thing I want to point out again is obviously we talked about volume a lot, and it's like how much do you want to beat a dead horse on this topic, but if you were to go through week 1 of ChatGPT's program, there's a high chance you're not showing up until halfway through week 2. And if you go through this program, by the time you get back to Monday, you're going to be ready to go on that lower body day. So not only is the volume much more tolerable, but it's programmed out in a way that allows you to rest the body parts that you need to rest in order to come back the next week and still do well and train efficiently on that day. If you go through ChatGPT's program, you're going to be so sore that even if you do go back the next Monday, you're not going to be able to train as optimally and as with as much intent and effort because you're going to be half dead from week 1 alone. So that's another thing to keep in mind is a program isn't just how hard are we training here? It's how can we set ourselves up for the next following weeks to still progress and make actual change.
Yeah, 100%. So what we're going to do next, we're going to go here. We're going to make a new program. We're going to go chat.
I have to go blow my
GPT.
nose. I will be right back.
Okay. We are designing a 1-week chat GPT program. So we're going to save and add workouts. So from here, we're going to build out these first 2 workouts that we did from last week. So we'll do day 1, full body. And if you can't see this, what I'll do is I'll post pictures of these at the end and I'll put them underneath the description of the workout. And we'll go from there. So this is going to be a full body workout. So ideally we're going to do just 1 round through. We're going to focus on heel to toe, walk, heel walk, toe walk. We're going to go knee hugs. Then we're going to go single leg RDL times 8 reps per side. We're going to go times 20 reps, times 20 reps, times 20 reps, times 8 reps per side. Then we're going to go hip airplanes times 8 reps per side. Actually, let's do one of these. We'll take out the knee hugs. And then we're going to do open book stretch times 8 reps per side. And then we'll go, give me a nice upper body warm up.
Upper body. Let's go with.
We'll go PVC passive.
All right.
Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
What were you going to say?
I was gonna say scapular push-ups or band pull apart.
I will say, or a scapular push-up
You keep the PVC pass through. It's a good one.
times 8 reps. All right, so this is a nice basic warm-up that we could use. Obviously, I'm going to do this kind of quick today because I want to get to the point of the workout. So we did chest press machine, and we did 2 to 3 sets times 8 to 10 reps, right? And then we did the seated cable row superset, 2 to 3 sets times 8 to 10 reps, right? So again, as we write this, that last program that we did, that was a little bit more of like an intermediate program. So what we kind of did with Transcend was the first month was like very much beginner based. The second month was a little bit more intermediate based. The third month was a little bit more advanced again. And then we've kind of like made these past months like a little bit more progressive as we've gone through. But with this program that we're going to write out here, we're basically going to write out as if you've never stepped foot in the gym before and this is your first time going through it. So 90 seconds. And then we got the goblet squat. And then we got, let's see, 2 to 3 sets times 10 reps, 6 to 8 reps, sorry. Then we got rest 20 seconds. Then we got dumbbell RDL. 2 to 3 sets times 6 to 8 reps. Then we got rest 2 minutes. And then we got farmer's carry 30 to 45 seconds. 2, 3, 7. And then plank. 2 to 3 sets times 30. 45-second hold. Cool. Rest 30 seconds. Rest 90 seconds. All right, we're going to have to edit this out. Because Jerry's doing no talking whatsoever. He's just sitting
Sorry, I had my mic muted.
there.
There's noise is happening.
All right, we'll just keep going. I'll edit this out.
Yeah, we could chop this part. Honestly, this is why I was saying, like, should we do it before? Just because this part. But I'll keep my mic unmuted.
I figured you'd have something to say and conversate.
You're frozen.
I am?
You were.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
Reps.
I also wasn't. I didn't understand what you were doing until you finished the first couple exercises there, and I was like, okay, he's going through the ChatGPT program that we fixed.
And then we'll do band pull aparts. Take this out on this one.
There you go. Easy peasy.
Why does it look like that?
He's broken. There you go.
Does it say what time we're at?
We're at 39:07.
Did you see roughly when we started? Like started this programming?
I have no idea what time. How do you tell that?
I don't know. I was just wondering if you had like an idea. We've
Maybe
probably been doing this
37. It's probably been like 3 to 4 minutes since we started it.
Okay. 8 reps. Seconds.
$608 reps.
Oops. Suitcase
Talk about
carry.
volume. Let's get it going.
2 to 3 sets times 30 seconds per side, as heavy as possible. Kettlebell chop. 2 to 3 sets times 8 to 10 reps. All right. Cool. Are we good? 3, 2, 1. What time is it actually? What time is it right now?
40:53.
Cool. All right. So sorry about that little pause. I wanted to write this out so it wasn't just you listening to us write program design. But so these were the 2 workouts we made from ChatGPT and basically how we adjusted how somebody would do if they wanted to work out 2 days a week. So now what I want to do is I want to go over how we would change this if someone was working out 3 days a week, and then even if someone was working out like 4 days a week, right? So when we look at this, we got 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps. So the volume obviously is cut down a lot from ChatGPT. It's also cut down a lot from the program that we just showed you. So what this gives someone the opportunity to do is obviously push these weights, right? But also gives them a range of what to hit. So if they're doing 2 to 3 sets, and they're doing 2 really tough sets, and they're like, I don't know if I can complete the third one, they can at least go for it, right? But the goal here is at least complete 2 sets. If you can, you're completing 3. And the same thing with the rep range. It's at least 8. And if we can get to 10, that's great. It's basically like extra credit, right? So you can kind of see we also kind of talked about the 7 patterns. We got squat, hinge, push, pull, single leg, core, carry, right? And for push, we got vertical, horizontal, and pull, we got vertical, horizontal, and then single leg, we have squat and hinge. So we're essentially touching on all of these pieces throughout these 2 days in the session, right? Now, if we were going to change this to say 3 days a week, we would put this here, and then essentially we would have, let's just say, a third day here. The way we would change this is very simple, right? So we'd probably have a little bit more of a focus on one of these days, but even if we were doing full body days, do you want to try to keep this full body?
Yeah, we can keep the whole thing full body. Keep it
Cool.
simple across
So
the board.
where would your head go quickly on a third day if we left these workouts as is here?
If we left them as is, so
Or we can
first
adjust
thing,
whatever you think is best.
okay. So first thing is, I would make sure that our warm up covers similar stuff, right? So we're getting kind of like, yeah. So movement patterns. So I like that we have the hip airplane on that day, but maybe we switch it to something where it's a little more quad focused. So maybe like a front foot elevated split squat with assist or something like that. Just like teach them new ranges of motion. That's something that's good. As we go into the actual workout too. So when we go into the program, I think the accessory stuff, because we hit a lot of big rocks on day 1 and 2. So day 3 can be like picking up the scraps.
Okay.
So we could think more accessory movements for the quad. So maybe we have like in there some point like leg extensions, or maybe we have something a little more stable like a leg press.
Okay, so maybe we go leg press here. Then I feel like uh maybe we go quad extension down here.
Okay.
And then maybe we go leg press upper body movement. So lower, upper, upper, lower.
Yep. I
So we'll
like
go
it.
leg press 2 to 3 reps, 6 to 8 reps per side.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe we'll go like we could do like a dumbbell lateral raise.
I was thinking lateral raise for the shoulder. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go 6 to 8 reps there. And then we got, let's think something upper,
You do like a lat, like a straight arm pull down, or like a
like a
cable
cable
pull over.
pullover.
Yeah,
Okay. So we got
something that's a
cable
little more
pullover with
isolated.
a machine quad extension. Obviously, some of these might not make total sense inside of like a regular gym, but it's just the idea of like what it could look like.
Hmm.
And then we could do, I like um I like side bends. I love dumbbell side bends.
Yeah,
Dumbbell side bend. And then we could do, let's say, a front rack carry.
I like it. So we're hitting both the obliques and the rectus abdominis.
Yes. All right. So this is what a very simple 3-day split could look like. So
Hmm.
we're keeping the chest press machine and the seated cable row. We're keeping the goblet squat and the dumbbell Romanian deadlift. And then we're keeping the farmer's carry and the plank. We still have our assisted split squat, single leg RDL, assisted shoulder press machine, cable lat pull down, suitcase carry, half kneeling kettlebell chop, leg press, lateral raise, cable pull over, machine quad extension, front rack carry, and then side bend, right? And if we were going to go to 4 days a week, now actually, let me say one thing too before I fix these. But so with if we're going to work out 2 days a week, ideally, like Tuesday, Thursday works out really well for a lot of people. Tuesday, Friday, it could be Monday, Friday, it could be Monday, Thursday. If you're only going to work out 2 days a week, it really just kind of you have a lot of options there in regards to filling the schedule. Obviously, if you have to work out back to back, that's also obviously, that works well, or that works as well. But ideally, if we were going to do back to twice a week, I would do something like a Monday, Thursday, or I would do like a Tuesday, Friday, or I would even do like, Wednesday, Saturday, something like that, where you give yourself a couple days in between. Ideally, when you're doing like, you know, uh, a new training stimulus like this, I would do something here and then I would do like a walk. So I would do like an
Hmm.
uh, active rest day, like a 30-minute walk, we'll say, right? So, and then we copy, paste, and you get the idea here. But this is what an ideal day would look like. We're walking or doing some sort of like activity. Then we get our big lift in because these are a lot of big movements. We give ourselves 2 days of rest, and then we're coming back for a second day, right? It's
Hmm.
also okay if it's like Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, or like Monday, or like Wednesday, Friday, something similar to that. Like, don't get caught up too much on that. It's just if we had a perfect world, this is what it would look like, right? Then on a 3-day split, it'd probably be ideal if we did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because then we get a nice little long weekend and we come back on Monday, fresh. Or we could do like a Monday, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday, or I personally I think Monday, Wednesday, Friday works the best. I don't know if
Hmm.
obviously you agree with that, because that gives us an opportunity to obviously take a rest day in between each, and then like I said, gives us a long weekend from there.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. Either that or like a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday too. Some people like the
Yeah, something
Saturday.
like that as
If
well. Yeah.
our, yeah, I was gonna say, especially if you wanted to take your time in the gym and you're feeling rushed, having one day a week where you can actually take your time does feel really good.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Then for these days, what I usually like to do here is I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, right? But again, same idea. This can be shifted because I also find with a lot of people, if you don't, there's obviously a trade off, right? Like if you don't mind working out on Saturday and Sunday, those are great days to train because there's usually not a work schedule. There's a little bit like relaxed schedule, but obviously, sometimes there's family things, there's events, there's things like that. So sometimes it's hard. If you wake up early and you train, then like having Saturday and Sunday as training days are a great idea, right?
Hmm.
If not, and you want to work out through the week, I think Monday, Tuesday, rest on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, rest Saturday, Sunday is probably the ideal schedule for 4 days a week.
Hmm.
And then if we were going to kind of look to change this, right? So let's kind of go back to designing this program. This is when I would start to consider like moving stuff around as opposed to like adding more sessions, right? So
Yeah.
if we're gonna look at this, Monday ends up being like full body, right? Like, and we can keep these full body. We just want to be aware that this is a lot to do in a week, right? Ideally, in this situation, I would probably swap this out for some sort of aerobic day, which I kind of
Hmm.
showed you guys in the past. But let's talk about like if it's strength days. How would you kind of go about changing this sort of thing?
So even I want to bounce back to the 3 day quick. So knowing that it would be 3 day, we kept the first 2 days the same to just as far as simplicity for the podcast here. But on those days, maybe what I would do is make day one have a main movement of like upper body. So maybe chest is the main movement. Then you have quads, the main movement day two. Day three would be hamstrings. I would kind of follow the same thing here. But for simplicity, if we're keeping those first 3 days the same, and then we go into that fourth day, maybe that third day we can make them a little more specific. Or if you wanted to treat that as more accessory, we can go more specific on the fourth. So I would probably hit hamstrings again, just because we didn't hit too much of it on day three.
Yeah,
So
so I would
maybe,
probably like a seated hamstring curl.
yeah, so more accessory, but seated hamstring curl on that one. And then main movement for the day, I think it would be nice to start off with like a back movement. So
Okay,
I think
so
we have
maybe
lat
like
pull down already. So
yeah, we
maybe
have lat
like,
pull down. I think we have seated cable rows. Maybe like a 3 point row.
yeah, something, yeah.
Okay.
This way we're using a little more of it's like a full body movement for a row. That's
Yeah.
as close as you can get to it. And then if we're doing another lower, we can do a quad movement. So maybe like something a little more dynamic, like a walking lunge, something to keep the blood flowing,
Okay.
but also work on a little more stability. So maybe the weight won't be as heavy for beginners.
Maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe like because I think a walking lunge would be a lot for like someone who's just starting.
Yeah.
Like way too much of
We did reverse lunges, right? Or maybe it wasn't one of these days. Maybe it was the last program.
yeah, I don't think we did reverse lunges. Reverse lunges would probably be
Yeah.
better.
Reverse lunges would be good.
Yeah. Reverse lunge, 6 to 8 reps per side. Okay, and then we did the hamstring curl. So let's go. I always like doing arm movements here, so maybe we swap these
Mm-hmm.
like this, and then we go dumbbell hammer curl,
Okay.
and then we go um, cable tricep extension, and then we do some sort of core movement, preferably not on the arms.
You could do, not on the arms.
Yeah, like I would think like a bent hollow hold here,
Okay. Got it.
just so we're not like taxing the
Yeah.
arms a little bit
For
more.
the tricep and everything.
Yeah. All right. So this would be again, this is a very rough outline for because I want you guys to see us do it live, just so you
Mhm.
kind of can see um what it looks like. So if we were going to switch to like a 4 day a week schedule, so let's kind of go back up to the top. So we got the 2 day schedule, which is really hitting all of these patterns in the same session. Now, the only reason this looks different than our original Transcend is because the volume's like cut in half on
Mhm.
each of these, right? So we're doing anywhere from 2 to 3 sets here for 8 to 10 reps, really focusing on like obviously I'd add a lot more detail if I was going to actually write this out for
Yeah.
somebody to do, but just for the sake of the podcast, like Jerry said, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 10 reps. For most of these movements are 6 to 8 reps, 2 to 3 sets, or 30 to 45 second hold. And we're doing all these main movements on these 2 days, right? Then if we're switching to 3 days, these 2 days are going to stay the same, but we're hitting some of the pieces that we haven't necessarily hit on these first 2 days and would be very beneficial for us to hit in the rest of the week. And then if we were going to switch to 4 days, we're doing that same idea, right? The only other thing that I personally would probably change here is I would maybe add in, instead of having a fourth lifting day, I would have a day of, like I said, aerobic work. So
Mhm.
hopping on the bike for 30 minutes, doing like an aerobic based workout, something simple as that. But this is a really easy, effective way to write out a training program for the week based on changing it and putting you in a position to succeed in comparison to like a chat GPT workout, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Well, I was gonna say adding the aerobic day. That's pretty much like we're looking at Transcend again. So it kind of gives you a little more of a deep dive into the way that we program and why we would do it. So
Yeah. So,
yeah.
if you guys want to see these workouts, like I said, I can take screenshots of these and I'll put like a link to them on the bottom of the podcast for this week. But I'm gonna stop screen sharing just so we can hop back to the regular podcast. But yeah, so I think it's really important that we understand and break down like the design and everything that's going on because we we need to we need to be aware that if we're gonna use something like Chat GPT, that there's a lot of flaws in it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And even putting in a lot of detail and giving it a lot of, like, I guess, guidelines to go by, it still doesn't produce great results in regards to program design. So obviously, you can see the difference even in the thought process that goes into something like that. You can see the thought or the difference in the design of something that goes into one of our training programs. So if you are interested in actually having something that works, right? We have so many options. We have dinner party, we have the weight loss program, we have transcend, we have a couple other little miscellaneous programs here and there if you have some specific goals like running or fighting or anything like that. And then obviously we have the bigger, better options, which are working with myself or Jerry individually, right? And that's going to be very dependent on who you are, what you need, what you're looking for, your priorities, all that stuff. And we're going to be able to really break that down based on you as an individual. So if you guys are interested in any of that, you can obviously hit us up, www.bgperform.com/training, or you can reach out to us on Instagram at Coach Jerry Hayes or at BGperform_. I think, that's it for me on this. I think there's a lot of good information, a lot of good breakdown on, what it looks like from ChatGPT to spit out a program for you to what an actual really well thought out design program looks like. So, any thoughts or anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, just a recap on that. Just obviously when it's throwing together stuff, even at the end, Brandon and I said, like, I don't know, a plank movement or a core movement is not on the arms, like a plank, because we were doing
Yeah.
triceps.
Yep.
Little things like that, or like if you're doing, I don't know, ChatGPT will often give you things that'll just tax your grip in the beginning and then like all the way through. So it's like, what are we doing? We try to spread out better exercises and make it make sense. So little things like that, ChatGPT doesn't even catch. So again, experienced eyes will notice little changes in a program that either do or don't make sense to get the best results. And then as far as moving forward for progression, ChatGPT kept it the same for however many weeks. You could see that even going into, we plan it out so going into the next week, you already are progressing or starting to have small progressions.
Yeah.
So things to keep in mind.
It's great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope you guys see the difference. I hope you feel the difference. But like I said, if you do want to feel even better or drop in on one of our training programs and try them out for a couple months, we'd be more than happy to help you there. But next week we're going to be talking about what are we, maybe
Training
I'm not
four.
sure. Oh yeah, training for. Yeah, so we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
kind of dive into if you're training for something, how to, how we would kind of adjust what we just talked about and build that out in a couple different ways. So
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.